is Christina Lynn. My business is Lynn Financial. I love to talk about money because I believe that financial savviness is a learned skill that you can master. What I want to talk to you today about is a habit that you likely have that is causing you to spend too much money. I know, I'll speak for myself, I am quite guilty of this habit. And I'm going to take you back to a vacation that I just got back from. I spent 2 weeks in South Africa, and it was the most amazing trip. In South Africa, it's pretty reasonable. Things aren't as expensive there. So we just spent basically 2 weeks in luxury. It was so amazing. I was in a wedding there, and the bride was so generous. She paid for everything. So I've never looked so beautiful in my life. I had like all of my nails, my toe was a spray tan, my hair professionally done, my makeup professionally done, like just everything was just so nice. And I was like, I could really get used to this. And not to bore you with my excitement here, but I was obsessed with my nails. Like I couldn't stop looking at them. I was like, I want these nails for the rest of my life. Like this is so much better than my piddly paint on nails that I do back home, which I actually prided myself on. I always have, because I know that it's expensive to get your nails done, and when you are kind of in that budgeting cycle, you know, $50 a month can add up, and so I chose to always save that money by doing it myself. But I was like, now that I see how the grass is so green on this side, I think that this is maybe one thing that I am going to take home with me. Like, what's so bad with that? One eensy weensy little extra spending habit won't hurt anything. So 2 weeks later, they had grown out, and they were starting to chip, so I knew I had to go in and get it redone, and I was totally planning on having them put like either redo what they had or do some other kind of fancy thing. They have like gel, shellac, acrylics, all these different things. So I was like kind of open to whatever, but I wanted something fancy like that. And it was, of course, then it started to dawn on me that I would be paying, you know, at least $50 a month to keep this up. And so then like reality sets in, thinking like, my current income really just doesn't justify that. Like, yes, I can afford it, but it's really probably not the most wise thing to do until I start generating some more income. So of course I'm making this scene at the salon, asking the lady like all the different prices, like, well, how much does shellac cost? How much does gel cost? Acrylics? What about the nail art? How much does that cost? And of course, I have to repeat myself 3 times because she doesn't understand me. And then she responds to me and she has this mask on, so I can't understand her. So we're making this big ruckus. Me asking all the questions because they don't just like clearly display the prices for everyone to understand. And so, it was embarrassing. But basically, I'm just like waffling there in public for everyone to see, like, do I agree to sign on the dotted line to like be paying this at least $50 a month for the rest of my life? I'm of course blowing it out of proportion. Okay, I'm gonna stop the story now and I'll come back to it. But have you ever heard that quote that says you are like the 5 people that you spend the most time with? That's a Jim Rohn quote. And you know, I always thought that was true for like my kids, making sure that they don't hang out with like, you know, the eventual future, you know, drug dealers of the school, making sure that they're choosing good friends to be around. But you don't always think about that in terms of your own life as an adult now, whereas it's really true. So if you can see where I'm going with this, it's that the people that you're hanging around right now, like the ladies that I go to lunch with, for example, they all get their nails done. Some of them can afford it and some of them can't. And, you know, it's all of their own decision, like how they want to spend their money. But you need to make your own decision about, is the way you're spending your money, is that sustainable? Like, can you continue to do that and live kind of guilt-free financially speaking, or will that eventually catch up with you? Or are you robbing yourself from investing in a different lifestyle down the road where you can afford these luxuries and never have to think twice about it? If I spent more time in South Africa, my spending habits would have really been affected, because that lifestyle is so wonderful. Like, they go to the nicest salons and they eat the nice, most fancy food, and they have all these luxuries that I'm not used to here. And all those things you can have, I can have them now. Of course, I could spend all my money on them, but I have a plan for where I want to go, and that plan is going to be thwarted if I start like chipping away at the stream that's necessary to fund my goals. So some people may look at that like you're robbing yourself of joy today for pleasure tomorrow. I guess that's my personality. You can call me out on that, but that's where I stand on the matter. So I suggest that you take a look at your social circle and from more of a neutral perspective, kind of look at where everyone's at and like how their spending habits are, and maybe perhaps how their spending habits are affecting you. For example, when you go out to lunch with your friends, like how often do you go out? What kind of restaurant do you go out to? When you go out to the restaurant, like what kind of things are you ordering? Like, are you all ordering an entree, an appetizer, and drinks? Or are you guys ordering salads and water? Or do you feel like a schmuck if you're the only one doing that? Everyone's situation is so different. Your income is different than your friend's income. Your spouse's income is different than your spouse's income. You might have kids, your friends might not. They might spend $800 a month on hockey league, where you feel like you can only afford $45 a month for dance. So you're seeing these disparities in income, but you never know what's going on behind the scenes. Like, they might be up to their eyeballs in debt, or they might have come from money, or maybe they don't really have a plan for their financial future where you want to. You want to know where you're going and have a plan of how to get there. So I just encourage you to be brave enough to step back and reevaluate your spending habits in consideration of maybe how your peers, your social circle is maybe influencing you in a way that's kind of hard to detect. Maybe it's time to limit the time that you spend with those people who you can tell make you feel inadequate or make you spend more than what you normally would out of pure pressure. Or be brave enough to raise your hand and say, you know what, ladies, this week can we, stick with happy hour at so-and-so's. I know that they have a special. You can be open with them, or you can not divulge your financial plan here in the background. Or maybe you have like a will of steel and you can just compartmentalize like how, after being able to recognize the influence that your friends have, and not let it affect your spending habits. So back to the story of my wild nails here. I decided not to go with the expensive route. So in a couple days, I'm going to have to take this off and do it myself, back to my own routine. But my message to you is, I want you to have a life of luxury. I want you to have your nails done, every month. I want you to have all the fancy things that you want to have. I'm not asking you to live on like rice and beans, if you will. What I am suggesting is to be brave enough to stand out from the crowd and adjust your spending habits that fit your needs right now. Put a plan in place so that you can totally afford to do all these fancy things that you want to do and be completely guilt-free about it. And then you can just flaunt your stuff, girl. Work it, work it, work it.